Foxy friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to my first crochet free crochet pattern. My brain's a little bit still a little bit on dial-up, but this is what we're going to be making today. I was a little inspired this week with making these flowers. I was making some flowers with my mother-in-law and I thought, oh my goodness, this would just look amazing on some headpieces for the girls. So I've been making a whole heap of different ones on clips. This rose I still haven't really secured properly. And yeah, they've been loving it, and I thought, oh my goodness, why am I just spewing this out of my brain and not putting this down on paper for you all? Not just for kids, obviously looks amazing on all of us foxy mothers. So let's get into it. I'm going to show you how to make this flower headpiece, and if you want to put it on a clip or on a hair tie, you can use this method for that as well. Editing Kate here. Clearly my brain was still on dial-up this morning when I was recording this, and I obviously thought that I still had the headband on my head for some reason. So I'm not just gesturing to like an invisible headband. You will be actually making, well, I will be showing you how to make this. So just thought I'd chuck that in there. Hope you had a laugh. Now let's get into it. Okay, so to make this daisy headband, what you're going to need is scissors, crochet hook, and a darning needle. I am using a 3.5 millimeter crochet hook. I'm also using some 4-ply cotton, but really you can use anything, and I'll show you that in a second as to why you can use anything in your stash. For the headband, you will need some sort of head band. This is just one I picked up from our local dollars and cents, cheap store, whatever you want to call it, Crazy Clark's, just your cheap store. This one in particular I did get from dollars and cents. Now if you don't want to make it into a headband, you could use one of these clips and I'll show you what they look like, or even a headband. I've just come in a little bit closer here just to show you what we're going to be making. So we will be making these daisies, but just to give you an idea of what the end result will look like and why you can use anything in your stash. This is a headpiece that I made up with some 4-ply, I believe this is just like a merino mix, sock yarn to be honest, I think. So merino nylon mix. I used a different pattern for this particular headband. But as you can see, it's worked out quite nicely. And my daughters love it. The reason I want to use cotton today though is it just gives you a little bit more firmness. So if you can see here, this is quite soft and flimsy, and does, like, while it still has structure, it the cotton just seems to hold its shape just a little bit more, and especially in this daisy pattern, because the petals here are quite spread out, the cotton just gives it just that little bit more structure to stand. Now if you don't want to put it on a headband, you may like to just put it on a hair clip. I don't know what you want to call these. I just got a packet again from dollars and cents. This was an 8-pack, it was $3, and these big clips, just, I don't know, there's just a bit more space to sew on. And the way that you sew it on, you can sew it on the method I'll be using for the headband. It's the same method that I've used for these clips. Now I just literally, let me find it. Here it is. I just unloaded my dryer and realized that my daughters had put this flower clip through the wash, or kept it in one of their pockets, and it went through the wash and the dryer. And as you can see here, it's pretty damn secure. So we're going to be doing the same sort of method for securing them to your headband. But as you can see, you can put it on a clip as well. And if you want to put it on this hair tie, or I think I called it a hairband before, hair tie, whatever you want to call it, same method applies. Okay. I'll put a link or some link in the description below to the cotton brands that I'm using, the crochet hook here that I'm using. All are Australian creators or available in Australia. So this cotton is from VK Yarns. I believe it is an 8-ply. I can't tell you the colorway. It's been in my stash for a while. I can't remember what it is, but Michaela does some amazing colors in a variety of different bases. I just really love her cottons. They just have a nice sheen to them, as you can see. The colors are always vibrant and they're just sturdy yarn. I've made lots of things, lots of garments from her yarns, so highly recommend. I always use an 8-ply with her Pima yarn. Now this is a bamboo viscose, I believe, blend from Spotlight. It's so soft. So, sorry, bamboo, I'm pretty sure it's bamboo, viscose and cotton. Definitely got bamboo and cotton in it, but it's so soft. It is a little fiddly to work with, as you can see here. It does kind of come apart quite easily, but I don't mind that because it's beautiful. And as you can see here, it's just got a nice sheen to it. And it's so soft, and I just love that idea for the headbands. Okay, we're going to start with, well, I'm going to be starting with the darker yarn because I want to have that darker center, and I'm going to do the lighter color on the outside just because I really like the idea of having the 2 white daisies and the darker one in the center for my headband. I'm going to be using US crochet terminology, and I'll put the instructions up on the screen, and I'm going to cross all my fingers here and hope that my mum brain can actually get this right, because this will be like the 5th take of me doing this magic ring. So you'll start with a magic ring or a circle, whatever you want to call it. You could do a slip stitch ring if you like. But essentially what you want to do is create that ring. We're going to be doing 9, or chain 1, then 9 single crochets into the ring, and we want to pull it tight. So whatever method works for you, you do. Okay, so I've chained 1. Now I'm going to do 9 single crochets. So you go through the loop, pull up, or yarn over, whatever you want to call it, pull through 2. Pull up a loop, pull through 2. That's 2. We're up to 3. We're up to 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And 9. I pull the loop through just a little bit here, just so I don't lose it when I go to close this magic ring. Now you want to make sure that all of your chains or stitches aren't going to twist here as you pull. Pull this closed. Sometimes it's easy to hold them with your thumb and your pointer finger. I'm just gonna pull it closed. So you can see here, I've got all, they've started to create that little center. Here we are going to join on our secondary color. So you'll need to cut that off. Now, your preference, this is completely up to you. I like to work in my yarn tails as I go. Some people like to do it at the end. Completely your choice, but I'll be working them in as I go. Okay, so we've got our last yarn, or our working loop on the hook. We're going to find the first single crochet that we did. You should count back here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. A little bit twisted. That's okay. There you are. Going to connect your secondary color like so. Just put those tails out the way. And now here we're going to chain 11. 1. Oh, don't use the tail. Make sure you actually get the right strand here. Hey, look, you don't watch my videos for just perfect tutorials, do you? You watch it because, you know, mum brain and yeah, anyway, let's just continue with the 11 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now what I do back down here is I just tug back on these tails just to make sure it's all tight, because as you can see here it's gotten a little bit loose. Now to create that petal, we're going to go back into the single crochet that we started in, and we're going to do a slip stitch. Now this is where I work in my tails as well. Pull that slip stitch through, and then we're going to move to the next single crochet and we're going to slip stitch. As you can see here, I'm going to work in my tails as I go. Pull up a loop and slip it through, and then we're going to repeat that again. 11 chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then go back down, back into that single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch. So essentially what we're doing here, I'm going to slip this through and then I'll show you. Each petal, the start and end of each petal will be in the same single crochet. So we're going to do this 9 times. So once you've slip stitched that back through, we're going to slip stitch to get over to the next single crochet. Let me just untangle these tails a little bit here. There we go. Here it is. I'm going to go in, I'm going to put my tails there. I'm going to bring up a loop and slip it through. And then, you guessed it, chaining 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Bring it back down, back into that same single crochet, and we're going to slip stitch it. And then we're moving it back across again to the next single crochet with a slip stitch. Down here, I'll meet you back around at the start. Okay, so I'm getting up to my last petal here. So I've got one single crochet left here. I'm going to slip stitch and chain my last petal. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Now we're going to slip stitch like we have been back into that same one. Now to secure this off, we just go and find that very first single crochet, and we're going to do a slip stitch and cut it off. Now I would recommend just leaving a little bit of a longer tail, and you'll see why in a minute. It'll help with securing it onto your headband. So this is what you'll end up with. You can flip it over, and if you've worked in the tails along the way, you can cut them off. So that's the back, and this is the front. So now you need your headband. Pick a color. Now I'm using the white because that's primarily the color I'm using here. As you can see, I've got the white, I've got the contrasted color, and the last white one. Now I could choose to use a blue yarn here to try and meld in or blend in with this headband, but look, you're not really going to see it because the flowers are going to cover this part, but this is going to help you anchor the flowers on there. So what I do here is probably ends up being, I suppose, is that about 15 centimeters? You choose how much you want to wrap around here. It could, if you lean it up like this, you can kind of gently position where you want your flowers to go. And I know that I'm going to need at least this much yarn wrapped around to help me anchor it on. So starting here, leave your tail there. You're going to wrap this yarn around your headpiece and around this tail. Okay, and you're going to do it tight. Just keep working it around and around. As you go, I tend to push it back down. So you'll need to cut quite a long piece. So as you can see here, I have wound thread all the way around. Here's the tail, and the working yarn, or the tail that we've been winding. What you'll need to do now is we're going to need to secure this tail. So put it on a darning needle, and you're just going to, see if you can get this right, you want to thread it back through. Okay, just trim them off. Now we're going to be securing the flowers onto the headpiece. Now pick up, so you just make sure you know the order on which you want to put the flowers. Before I jump in any further, if you we're looking to just do one on a clip, you're going to use this same method of winding the yarn around, but you're going to be winding it around here, up this side, and down this side. We'll start up at the wider end, go all the way down, jump across, and then go back up. So you end up on the other wider end, and then same thing, thread the tail back through. So then you'll be able to do exactly what we're going to be doing on here, on your clip too. This is what the underside will look like once you put it on the clip, or wind that around the clip. You'll need a darning needle for this. I like to use this one with the bent tip. It just helps me leverage under this yarn, the yarn that we've woven around. So hold your yarn on, hold the flower on the yarn where you'd like to secure it. Now I wrap it around a few times, and I just go back through a few of the loops on the flower. So you can see here, essentially you've just made a loop. There's one. Wrap it around. Just want to make sure you're not coming out on this side. So that just loosely has it on there. As you can see, it's still loose. I'm just trying to hold this so you can see without my camera going out of focus. Now is when we want to sew it into here. And just pick up a few. I hold it there, hopefully its camera will stop doing what it's doing. Go under. essentially you're just going to keep working this until you feel like the flower is secure enough. Oh. Pull it through, making sure you're not catching the petals like I have just there. You may even choose to do some on the other side, but I just work all the way down here like this. Once you have it on, once you're happy with how tight it is, just make a small knot to secure the end. I do that by making a loop like that. Let's pull that back through. And then hide the tail back through the work. Needle will help with that. And then just cut it off. And there's your first one. So I didn't do it too tight, but tight enough that it's not going to flop around everywhere, but loose enough that I can kind of manipulate where I want it to sit on the headband. So now you're going to do that, repeat that process with your next 2 flowers. Alrighty, and your finished result should look something like this. I'd just like to show you the underside so you can sort of see how I did it, and if you're on the same page. You can sort of spread them out. You can, if you spray a little bit of water on these petals, you can kind of block it and get them to sit. Don't mind the mess behind me. As you know, I like to keep things real on this channel, but here is what it's looking like on a real person. This is actually a kid's headband, but it fits my head all right. So what do you think? Are you going to make them? I hope you do. Let me know what you think. Would you like to see some more different flower designs? Would you like me to do a tutorial for this one? Let me know. Thanks for joining in. Sorry about the background noise. I've got my RoboVac going at the moment and he's coming down this way, so perfect time to end. Thank you. Bye-bye.